Let me tell you this, brother. You might not be the most happy about your dating life right now. Maybe you feel still anxious about attracting a woman. Maybe you're staying home, doing nothing, playing video games. Maybe you are going outside, but you're not getting the results you want. You get rejected a little bit too much and it fucking hurts and it's not fun.
That sucks too.
What if I told you that your past is holding you back right now without you realizing it because you went through certain experiences in your childhood that led you to think in a certain way, to believe certain things, and to feel specific emotions that are holding you back when you meet a woman, when you date a woman, and throughout the whole process until you have a relationship. I wrote a post on Facebook and I want to read a little part for you to really understand how deep this can go. So let me read it to you. If you didn't get the approval you needed as a child, you will be consumed by winning the approval of others as an adult. This was me. If you weren't valued for who you were as a child, you'll be measuring up to other people's expectation to be valued as an adult. If you weren't made to feel special for who you were as a child, you might be very demanding as an adult. If you weren't esteemed for who you were as a child, you'd probably want to impress people, right? With your attributes, with actions and all of this. If you weren't made to feel important, just for who you were as a child, you might be drawn to help other people as an adult, like a people pleaser. If you weren't liked for who you were as a child, you might become too nice, like a nice guy. If you weren't loved for who you were as a child, you might become very charming, almost like a seducer. And if you weren't recognized for who you were as a child, you might place status as the holy grail to achieve as an adult. Basically, everything that you didn't get in childhood, you put it on the pedestal as an adult as the most important thing to achieve. I remember in my childhood, I was not getting any attention from women, right? I was the shy guy, bullied, I was very, very skinny, very nerdy. I was playing video games every fucking day, it was so hardcore. I used to play 12 hours of video game every day on holidays. Like when I didn't have schools, bro, from morning till midnight, video game. I used to play MMORPG, so you can imagine, like hardcore. And of course, no woman wanted to be with me. And if a woman would start to talk to me, I would be like freeze, like I would freeze literally, and I would think that she was making fun of me, right? It was that bad. My first kiss was when I was 17 years old. I lost my virginity when I was 19. So, okay, you could say, well, there are guys that, are still virgin and they're 25 years old. Yeah, sure, I know, but 19 is a bit late. In my classroom, I was probably the only one virgin at the time. All my friends, they had sex, they were talking about their sexual experiences, and I was the only one silent in the group and feeling ashamed of the whole thing. So of course, because I didn't get the female attention, when I reached 2021, I was suffering a lot. It was very hard for me to express myself in social settings, and I was extremely frustrated. And that's when I discovered the whole pickup community, and that's when I started to meet women in the streets. And of course, I had a burning desire to get the validation from women, right? Because I didn't get it. Of course. Like, who wouldn't feel this way, right? And lately I've been working with a client. The problem with him was not that he didn't get any results. He was getting results, but he felt like it was never enough. No matter what he did, it was not enough. And he was like, fuck, why is this happening? Why, even if I get results with women, why, even if women give me the validation, I still don't feel good enough. I still need more and more and more. And that's when we basically did internal work, right? Because when you deal with something like this, the tool that you want to use is to go internally and to deal with the very block that leads you to believe that you're not good enough, right? Because that's a block. or we can call it like a part of yourself. It's not really you, right? And I'm sure you can recognize the difference between you and the part who doesn't feel good enough. And maybe sometimes it feels so real that it feels like you, and you start acting from the place of not feeling good enough. I know that from experience as well. But it's still a part. It's not really you. And if you want to go a little bit deeper into this, you can check the book No Bad Parts by Richard C. Schwartz that talks about this concept. Very powerful concept about the internal work. So that's what we did. And very quickly he realized that this part of him that didn't feel good enough was stuck in the past. This part of him was holding on to this, little girl that he was so in love with, and she didn't like him back, and that hurt him at the time in his childhood. And he was still attached to this girl, even though, he moved on, right? It's been so many years. He was maybe 10 years old, 11 years old? That was a long time ago, But still, subconsciously, this is the important part. Subconsciously, he was still attached to this little girl. And he was still trying subconsciously to get her validation, to win her back. And that's why no matter how many results he was getting, it would not satisfy him. Because this little girl didn't give him the validation back then. He was still trying hard to get her back. So we rewired that memory together using the parts work tool that I have in my arsenal. And he felt the shift instantly. Like, I'm talking instantly. I'm not saying that it happens all the time whenever you have a mentoring session with me. Like, sometimes it takes a little bit more time. But with him, it happened very quickly. Like, boom. The next day, he got sick. And that can happen when you go through such a deep emotional experience, energetic experience. The body feels almost overwhelmed by the whole experience. And the sickness is like almost like a cleaning experience, basically. And then on the weekend, he decided to go outside. And everything changed. So basically, he went outside without the need to get any results, without the need to have women liking him, without feeling like he needs to do anything. He just wanted to go to the club, or I think a bar, I don't remember exactly, to just enjoy himself. That's it. Just enjoy himself. And here's the interesting thing that happened. He started to get a lot of looks, like a lot of looks. And there's a few women that started to talk to him. He didn't even have to approach. He got approached. And then one woman started to talk to him really heavily. She was really into him. She even told him I really want to fuck you right now. But basically she had a boyfriend. It's kind of a fucked up story. And then her guy left. She started to kiss my client. My client was like, yeah, okay. She's so beautiful. And long story short, he grabbed her number and, he was really impressed by the whole experience because he didn't care about what was going to be the outcome of this night, but he had such a blast. And that's because we rewired his brain for feeling good enough. That's what changed everything for him. Now, why is this happening? Why can we do that? There's something called neuroplasticity. I'm sure some of you heard that. And it simply means that at this very moment, your brain is changing. As I'm speaking to you right now, your brain is evolving. Because every single experience you're going through in your life is going to create new neural pathways in your brain. You can look that up. If you don't trust me, you will see that it's based on science and studies. It's not just me pulling this out of my ass. Okay? So that means that whichever experience you're going through will change the way your brain is. If you do internal work properly, it will change the way your brain is. Whatever that happens to you will change you. Now, here's the thing. If you keep on having the same experience, like getting rejected, getting flaked on, not having any woman in your life, then your brain stays the same. So that means that you need to get out of your comfort zone, of course. You need to take more risks, right? And you need to practice the internal work if you're feeling a little bit like stuck, like proper stuckness, right? Because the internal work is going to help you like really look at the root of why you feel inadequate, of why you feel anxiety when you're about to meet a woman, of why you fear rejection. You know, you will see that there's a reason why you feel like this, and then you can actually rewire this using, again, parts work. Also, EFT can be really helpful, or attachment repairing, and these are the tools I teach in my mentoring program. And when you have rewired your internal system, then you can show up differently when you in the street, in the bar, in the mall, or in a club, and when you're talking to a woman, when you're having a date. Because the way you see yourself, how you feel, your beliefs have changed. And this will naturally have some like ripple effect in your dating life because of neuroplasticity. So as you can see, it's not just about doing the internal work. And I don't want you to think that if you do the internal work, your life will change completely, because that's not true. You have to combine internal work with taking action, with taking more risks, with basically using the path of the most resistance. This is what I teach to my clients as well. And with internalizing every single experience you're going through for success, not for failure, for success. If you're interested in getting mentored by me, I have just literally opened the doors of my mentoring program a few days ago. If you want to have this intimate experience with me and getting mentored by me on a weekly basis for 12 weeks, you can send me a message on Instagram or Facebook, I'm in, and I will send you some details on how this works and if we're compatible and stuff like that. If we're not compatible, it's all good. We can still be friends, no problem. I'm not going to push you to join. But if you have been interested in working with me lately, if you enjoy my content, this is an offering. I don't always sell my programs on these YouTube videos. You can check the other YouTube videos. I don't really do that. It's not really my style. I just like to give you some values. But today I feel like it's time to do it. So make sure to send me a message on Instagram or Facebook if you're interested. And if you just want to have access to a free course, there's also a link in the description. It's a free course that can help you attract one date opportunity every week with your 10 out of 10 using the masculine alignment process. Feel free to grab it. It's free. You just have to give me your email. And I see you, my brother.